What's good, YouTube? Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you're having a wonderful day no matter what time it is, and I hope you have something that you're grateful for. Just came in to record a quick video because something was on my mind and I feel like I should express it to you guys. And basically, while I was working out, it was just like it was an interesting topic. And if you were wondering what I'm doing down here, I'm touching my dog. I'm not gonna reveal them to you yet. I'm hiding them from the world right now. But yeah, I feel like Drake, hiding my dog from the world. But yeah, one thing that was important, it was important to me, and it was a concept that kept on cutting in and out, you know, throughout my life. And every time I would listen to the podcast, you know, it would really resonate with me. So what it was a podcast by Alex Hormozy, and what I like to do when I work out is I like to listen to books. I like to listen to educational videos. I like to listen to podcasts and stuff like that. I don't really listen to music when I work out. So Alex Hormozy is an agency owner, multi-millionaire, serial entrepreneur. So he does a lot of different things, and he's very successful. So, you know, I like to listen to successful people. They have, bro, if you knock down my camera, bro, if you knock down my camera, I will beat you up. But yeah, I like to listen to successful people because they have the credibility, they have the experience. So what he was talking about was basically making a sacrifice at a young age. Making a sacrifice, he was talking about like basically how he was mentoring an 18-year-old. And if you don't know, I'm 18 as well, turning 19 in a couple days. And he was mentoring an 18-year-old basically through his life. And the 18-year-old was his neighbor, and he was telling his 18-year-old, walking him through like big decisions. And you know, the decisions he was saying are relative. So meaning for the 18-year-old, the big decision that happened, or the big situation, was he was in college and something happened bad in college, and basically he was about to lose his chances of going to college, right? So he was talking about how he was going to walk the 18-year-old through that decision. And basically, long story short, he walked the 18-year-old through that decision, and he explained the concept of sacrifice, and the concept of self-sabotage, and the concept of fear. And what he was saying was really, you know, in life we do have these big decisions that come up, and you know, the older we get, you know, the more important they are, basically, generally. And he's 18, and he has like that first big decision that comes up, and what it was college. So he's the 18-year-old is an entrepreneur type person, and I can relate to that. I'm entrepreneurial, and you know, I want to own a business as well. So what happened was, you know, something happened bad during college, and he wasn't able to, he was going to lose the chance of going. He was either going to fight for it, or he was going to use that as a pivot in his story in order to fully commit to what he believes in. And what was going on in his situation, he was trying to, Alex Hormozy, the mentor, was basically trying to get into the mind of the 18-year-old and understand why he would want to go back to college, instead of using that and sacrificing college, and sacrificing some fun, and sacrificing doing all, you know what goes on in college. You know, whatever you do in college, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, sacrifices all of that in order to fully commit to his business. And what he found out was the reason why he didn't want to sacrifice that was because he felt like if he fully committed to his business and he wasn't successful, he would be seen as a failure. So basically what that means is using college as a form of self-sabotage and like an excuse in advance in order to get out of the fact that you're not successful within the first year of doing business. Now, you know, from his point of view, and how I used to look at it was, yeah, that's 100% true. Like, if I'm not successful in if I'm not a millionaire in the first couple months after starting this entrepreneurial journey, what am I doing? Like, after starting my business, what am I doing? And it kind of sounds crazy right now, but I know if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, or if you have this thing that you're doing and you're watching this, I know it's like, you know, you want to be successful and you want it to work as soon as you start. And yeah, you gotta, just like I'm learning to do it, you gotta kill that vision. Like, it's one thing to be pessimistic, it's one thing to be optimistic, and you know, it's one thing to want to be successful and want it to work out, but it's another thing to be realistic and look at it from a different point of view. And the point of view I'm trying to portray right now is I'm 18, I'm not in college. I made that sacrifice a long time ago, and it wasn't that big of a sacrifice to me. Like, my story's a little bit different. I didn't really care about college. Like, I never had interest in high school, so I knew I wasn't gonna fucking like college besides, the fucking around and having fun and maybe parties and shit. That's the only good part. And I don't really care about missing out. I'm naturally not that extroverted, but you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah. So if you think about it, from his perspective, he's trying to be successful within the first year of doing it, and his fear is not being successful within the first year if he fully commits. But if you think about it, it takes 4 years. If you went to college for business, it takes 4 years for you to complete that degree, and then once you get out of college, that's when you actually start working. Say if you actually went into business for something, for my case, an agency owner, for 4 years, and you invest the money, you invest the time into it, just like you would invest it into college, and you come out and then you measure the two people, somebody who went to college for 4 years, then got out and started doing the business, versus somebody who's been in business for 4 years. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to make more income? The person actually in the field, or person studying about the field? You get me? So it really opened up a new perspective for me, and it was a little bit comforting, and it was a little bit encouraging for me. So that's a perspective that you have to look at it from. And maybe you're not successful within the first 2 months. Maybe you're not successful, within the first year. But by then, honestly, if you work, you will be. But maybe you're not successful. So what? You're not a millionaire at 19. So what? You're not a millionaire at 20. So what? You're not a millionaire at 26. Dude, it's like it gets. Oh shit. It's like it gets to the point where you can be afraid of temporary failures. You can be afraid of mistakes. But what I've learned is that in terms of the mind, in terms of progress, those mistakes in the beginning are actually good for you. Mistakes and temporary failures are actually means to an end. It's not the end in itself. So as long as you focus on that end goal, as long as you focus and look in terms of the end results, dude, you're unstoppable. And that's kind of that was on top of my mind, so I wanted to record a video. And just before I end it off, it's it brings out a new point of view. And the thing do not knock over my camera, bro. Don't knock over my camera. The thing that I was, afraid of, or, my personal story would honestly be, in my case, I want to get a car within 2 months. And my expectations are super high for myself. And I've already had a car. I wrecked my last car, and I was working a regular job to get the car. And now I'm just driving my dad's, one of his extra cars, basically. But I want to have my own, and I want it to be a nice car. And I know it's going to be $20,000. So, my initial expectation was literally bro, you have to make some type of money in order to put money down on the car, in order to get the car. And my thing was, I'm going to commit for 2 months, and I'm going to work. And I'm basically going to get some money from my agency within 2 months, somehow, some way. But now that I look at it, now that I think about it, I changed my expectations a little bit. So that's one of the things. And then the other thing is, basically, I'm afraid to waste time. I'm afraid that these 2 months I do something and I work super hard and I don't go nowhere. And I make a mistake and I have a temporary failure. That's what I'm afraid of. So those are two things that I'm afraid of. And what I learned from just listening to the podcast and looking at the mentor, Alex Hormozy, and the 18-year-old, their perspective, was really that first, like I said, the temporary failure and wasting those 2 months actually isn't wasting those 2 months. Because if you're taking action, if you're doing things and you're doing it with intent, and you have a plan and you follow through that system and your processes, and you're building your habits and you're changing who you are, you're not actually wasting time. Actually, you're making the most progress possible. And I think what you're not have that temporary failure is like a big stepping stone to your success. And I think what actually wastes your time, like from my new point of view, my new perspective, and what I learned from it was actually wasting your time is not taking that necessary action and not doing the work and making these excuses and productive procrastination, which is basically like looking at these little things in your company and just basically like bullshitting, reading so many books and not doing nothing with your life, or working on your website for fucking 200 days. You get what I'm saying? So that's what's actually wasting your time. Doing outreach, talking to business owners, creating content like this, running ads, practicing, that's working. And you're getting closer to your actual goal, which is, financial freedom in the long term. So that's not wasting your time. So I've killed that negative belief and I rationalized with myself what actually wasting your time is. And the other thing that I did was almost lower my expectations. I was like a little bit more realistic with myself. Like within 2 months, starting in a new career field, you think that you can make enough money to go buy a car. Like it doesn't make that much sense. So like I'm gonna have to think of a different way, or think of some sort of a different catalyst basically in order to get a vehicle. But I'm just gonna have to refocus and think of what's important for me. But the whole thing is that like I lower my expectations, and my whole expectation for the next 60 days is honestly that I put my foot forward and I do my part and I make my plan and I execute on the plan. And once that's done, I don't worry about anything else. Like I take my action, I do my part, I put in the work, and I just stop worrying about stuff. Everything else is out of my control. That's like my expectation. Like, and my other expectation is honestly like just the habits, the daily routines, being consistent. That's my only expectation for the next 2 months, and maybe 2 testimonials, because I'm probably going to be giving out free trials. So yeah, that's what I wanted to like talk about. How long has it been? 12 minutes. Didn't expect it to run this long, but yeah. So that's the video. I hope you guys have a great day. If you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, hit me up in my DMs. Let's connect. And probably gonna drop my social down below. But yeah, so I'll talk to you guys later.